Good morning. It is another beautiful day. I am Gregory. This is 1 in 20 D&D, and I'm back again with number 3 daily D&D. D&D Daily. I'm still kind of back and forth about this name. D&D Daily. So, hey, welcome. I got lots of fun things to talk about with respect to role-playing games again, as always. First and foremost, the primary thing on my mind, well, it's Thursday. That means tonight is Critical Role. So I'm very excited about that, and I'm sure many of you are as well. It's the new year, and it's the first session of the new year. So I can't wait to see what the players do and what the madness happens and what Matt has in store to kick off the year. And they're about to go into the temple. Spoilers, maybe. I don't know. They're about to go into the second temple, and I'm very curious to see what happens when Ford, of course, Travis's wonderful character, gets into more mayhem, perhaps. So we'll see. I'm very eager to see what happens tonight. So that's, of course, today's Thursday Critical Role, and I did try to catch up, of course, with Dice Camera Action. So now I am in fact watching episode 112, and it's funny, it's this therapy session if you haven't seen it. So again, maybe a minor spoiler, I don't know. They have a guest NPC, and they are they're in therapy, and it's kind of a funny episode. It's been a little challenging because there's like huge amounts of tension in this episode between all the characters, all the players through their characters, or however you want to think about it. So there's a lot of like resistance to this process, and Chris Perkins is just like sitting there watching the whole thing, smiling, and just got this crazy shit-eating grin on his face and having a good old time with it. So they're having a good time. I'm a little more than halfway through the episode, so I should be able to finish that in no time. So that's kind of fun. Next on my thought for today, and what I wanted to share, is that hey, last night we filmed session 50 in the Kingdom of Agic. #Agic if you want to check out any of those videos. Of course, there's a playlist that is connected to my YouTube channel, which is probably where you're watching this. And so episode 50, I was waiting and trying and putting things off to get the whole crew there. It's myself plus 6 players, which is challenging. It's fun, it's challenging, and unfortunately 2 of them had some family or personal stuff come up that, that's life. It's real life. Real life comes first, especially family. Family's got to come before silliness like having fun playing games. Having fun playing games is a huge part of my life. It is one of the things that brings me the most joy. So I absolutely, support doing as much of it as you're capable, I guess. At the same time, we also have to recognize that, still got to pay the bills, still got to be respectful of the people around us. We still have to be mindful and take care of our responsibilities, and our family and real people should come first. Family, friends, and so forth. And that kind of is true in your games too. I mean, you have to have a respectful environment at the table too, right? You don't want to be making people uncomfortable or putting people off when you're in a gaming group. That's one of the worst things to do. That's how you get people either leave the game because of you, or people ask you to leave the game, which is even worse, I think, on some level. So, be cool with each other, love each other, be friendly, have fun, first and foremost. And then tell a great story, of course, which is what we're all about. So here was my challenge last night. I've really tried to shift my focus as a DM from worrying about the stuff that's going on behind the scenes, like the stats and the, who's there, what's happening, all the moving pieces, so to speak, and stay more present in the game and what's actually going on. More into the role playing, I guess, is another way to say it. So, excuse me. So I've been trying to focus on that, and I struggled last night because the players zigged when I thought they would zag, and it happens all the time. So there's two reasons this happened. First, it's been like a couple weeks since I ran a game using Roll20. As I mentioned, Tuesday I actually was in person running a game with everything right in front of me, and on some level it was a little easier because I felt more comfortable. It was our session 0, so I didn't feel the same kind of level of pressure, whereas session 50, we've been playing together as a group for more than a year. We are friends, of course, at this point more than anything, and I want to make a great session for them. I want to finish the session getting the feedback of like, hey, dude, that was great. We had a good time. I don't want to get the session done and over with and myself or anyone else feel like, oh, God, that was boring as hell. Because that's terrible as a DM. That's like the worst thing possible. So I realized last night I got to find a way to be a little more organized when I'm doing the Roll20 game. Okay, because that's number one. That will definitely help me. Number two is if they zig and when you think they're going to zag, I guess I should try to be a little more spontaneous and relaxed and not fret so much about my decisions. I think I get bogged down. I think I end up getting like analysis paralysis because I'm like, oh no, what's this NPC going to do? Oh God, what are they didn't do what they, like, especially in this, the manual gives you, if the party does this, then this. If the party does that, then that. And they did neither of those, and I'm kind of like, okay. So I had to really, as quickly as I could, try to figure out, okay, what does it say about this NPC? Who actually turned out, it happens to be a ghost, coincidentally. So what does this ghost want as an NPC? And then I had to think about, like, well, it's a ghost, so what does that mean? Like, it's what's it gonna do? And ghosts essentially can be any alignment. So they could be a good ghost, right? Or it could be an evil ghost. So I'm like, now I have to go back to like, okay, who was the ghost before it became a ghost and all? So I'm like cross-referencing all these things. I'm trying to like in that moment go through the manual and the monster manual and the campaign guide or whatever. And I'm like, I'm like pulling my... Regardless, suffice to say, that really only took me a few moments, like maybe a couple minutes. And I asked everybody to be patient for that. The rest of the game, we kind of went along nicely. Now, again, we were short a couple players, unfortunately, so we didn't have the full crew for role-playing, but we still sort of got into it. And what's good, I think, is... Here's what's important. Again, we're sort of doing the Prince's of the Apocalypse, and I will say that, again, spoiler alert, but the party has defeated one of the they've defeated two of the Earth Prophets, and they have actually closed one of these elemental portals. The first portal that they found, they were able to close. And I do a recap, of course, before the session, always, but basically what I was concerned about is the party, the last session, 49, they didn't seem like they knew where they wanted to go. But now, in this session, they sort of hashed that out through a little bit of role-playing. It wasn't real intense or anything, but it was, in my opinion, it was in my perspective, it was a critical decision that they finally made of like, what do we do next? What do we do next? So they decided that, and they had sort of thought about this previously, but I think they finally definitively said, yes, this is what we're going to do, is let's get out of here where we're at right now, which is called the Black Geode. Let's get out of there and then maybe try to figure out a way to rest, because we're all tapped out. So we need to like chill out, regain some of our skills and abilities and spells and stuff, and then we'll see what to do from there. So last night was a fun session. I got some fantastic feedback from my players or at least one of my players that really, man, it just means so much when your players let you know, hey, great session. And I at least one of them, probably more than one of them, said that we all at the end of the game felt like it was a good game. We had fun, and it was, it was fun. We got a bunch of combat, which is typical in our games these days because they're actually in a dungeon and have been for like seemingly forever. So it was fun, and I look forward to it. Little preview. One thing that I'm really, really excited about this week is that, and I mentioned it in the other videos, like we're playing our second full session of our BattleTech tabletop game. We play on Roll20, so technically it's not a table. We're not sitting down, but Roll20 is a virtual tabletop, so we're still, in a way, playing, and we're playing the tabletop version of BattleTech. Now, again, homebrewed because Brett likes to homebrew stuff, and it's just easier for all of us. We want to make it functional for us so that we're having fun, so that it flows a little more easily and seems a little more congruous with, like, we play MechWarrior Online, which is a phenomenal, fun game, and it is free, by the way, too, if you want to check it out. And totally fun game. We want to get some of the feel of that, which is super intense because it's kind of a first-person shooter, basically, and also some of the fun of the strategy of a tabletop. So that's sort of what we've been doing. That's what Brett has in mind. The first session was great. He's done individual sessions, sort of, to try to like work out some of the kinks and bugs and stuff. So I feel like this session, too, is just going to be nothing but fun. And because now we're starting to all have a sense of, like, A, who are our, quote, characters, and then how do the mechs work, and then how does combat and movement work. And so I think it'll flow a lot more precisely, concisely, easily. So it'll be fun. I think I have another Car Wars episode somewhere in the can. It's been recorded and needs to be edited and put out. So I will get that out for you guys as soon as possible. Please be patient. In the meantime, again, Adventure Zone is on my list. I will get to it. In fact, I will commit. This week, I will get back. I'll probably restart from and watch listen to, because it's a podcast. Listen to episode 1 again from the beginning to try to start fresh and refresh my mind about who are these characters and what the heck are they doing and what are they all about. So there you go. So I promise I will commit. I know Adventure Zone gets way better way on. I've heard anyway, like session 50 or something like that or whatever. But I am the kind of person, this is just me, I gotta start at the beginning. I just jumping in the middle. I prefer not to. So there you go. So that's my little bit of daily thoughts and hopefully inspiration for you. Go out, have some great games, play with great people, be a great person. In the meantime, I'll see you at a table someday, and keep rolling 20s.